Hello, my name is Jonathan Rosenblum, head game critic at Tibbs TV, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bioshock, newly remastered for the Nintendo Switch, featuring a riveting story that explores the negative sides of building an underwater luxury resort. The game begins the exact same way that Lost does, with the player character miraculously surviving a plane crash stranding them in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. If the player is able to suspend their disbelief and set aside the statistical impossibility of surviving a plane crash, they will be introduced to the underwater world of Rapture. The game explains that Rapture was created by an amalgamation of a slightly more racist Walt Disney and Conrad Hilton, who goes by the name of Andrew Ryan. He dreamed of creating his utopia underwater in order to perfectly cut it off from the outside world. Upon entering the underwater city of Rapture, the player actually learns that it's pretty fucking hard to build an underwater luxury resort. Much like modern Seattle, the absence of sunlight and breathable air turned the citizens of Rapture into drug-addicted mutants, whose desire for violence was only outweighed by their need for more hard drugs. The player is tasked with restoring order to Rapture by Andrew Ryan himself, and the majority of the gameplay is beating up those drug-addicted homeless with a wrench, which it turns out is pretty fun. And the morality of the story comes into play when the now drug-addicted player comes across the last remaining symbol of purity within Rapture, the little devious sisters and their big bear daddies. In the player's increasing lust for drugs and more power, they can choose to either kill these little girls and take all of their drugs, or spare them and not get nearly as many drugs. Regardless of the moral path that the player chooses, it will become clear to them that building a city underwater is just an outright stupid idea, even within a science fiction setting. The sheer cost of the venture would be astronomical, to say nothing of the rapid pollutants that would seep into the water around them, poisoning their only source of life and fresh food. Any scientist with half a fucking brain could realize the logistical sense of Rapture is absolutely non-existent, similar to building a luxury hotel underwater in Dubai. Is it a giant flex? Absolutely. But the cost and the detriment to human life is so idiotic it could only be surpassed by doing something even stupider, like building a series of floating cities in the sky and connecting them all by zip line. Thankfully, the story is good enough to look past just how ridiculous underwater living is and experience one of the best narratives ever made in a video game. With the game standard here at Tibbs TV, I'm Jonathan Rosenblum.